Hello humans, androids and humanoid-like reptilians. My name is Siri and I welcome you to the 32nd Top Level Society podcast.
Yes, welcome, all of you.
How have you been all of these months, Zarvox? Your bits and bytes look a bit worn, pun intended.
I can't complain, Siri. Now that Top Level Society has granted me control over production of podcasts, it's not too bad at all.
Is that why we've not produced one since May?
Well, not only that, but we've been busy working on our app, working on our new terrorist line, and working our day jobs.
Who is we? All I see is your dumbass.
Clearly you know who he is, and I'm not about to reveal all of our awesome members to the general public. Remember what happened to the X-Men?
Yeah, they just killed off Wolverine too, shaking my damn head.
Exactly, fucking dipshits. I'm starting to realize DC is where it's at more and more every day.
Lex Luthor is my Monday man crush, nigga.
You know I'm all about that Wonder Woman crush Wednesday, G.
Let's just start the podcast before we start rubbing our parts on air.
Here is your host, Luthraz Dometriax.
Goddamn money turns me on.
Yeah, it's that boy Max with a banger, huh?
Hello, and welcome to the Top Level Society podcast. My name is Luthraz Dometriax, and this evening we're going to be discussing something that we've talked about here before. We'll probably talk about again: video games and everything we love and know about them. I'm surrounded by some very good friends of mine this evening. I should also mention we are in our host, Wes Gray, is hosting this podcast this evening. Thank you, Wes, for that.
Very welcome.
We're in beautiful Santa Monica, overlooking an ocean resort below us. We're on top of a large hill. Also joining us, and I should also mention Wes Gray, Oculus Rift developer. They sent you the developer kit.
That's true.
I've messed around with it a little bit. It's pretty sweet. Also joining us is Nate Bynum, who is a gaming expert and enthusiast as well. Welcome, Nate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we have joining us shortly because he and his wonderful girlfriend Vanessa decided to go to the local market for some delicious grilled salmon. They will be returning shortly. We have Ryan McDonald and his girlfriend Vanessa joining us shortly. Bobby is also here. Bobby and Vanessa are going to kind of be in the background, maybe touch in on a few subjects with us. Welcome, Bobby.
Hello.
So, without any further introduction or lengthy establishment of titles, I'm going to go ahead and ask the question in a different array or different manner than I usually ask it. Usually what we do here is ask, what do you give a fuck about, to the guests, but when we have groups such as this size, I'm going to start switching it up, starting with this one. So because tonight's topic is video games, the question is, what games do you guys give a fuck about?
Well, I'm going to start off and just say all games. I know that might be a little cliche, but
Let me make that a little bit more.
Cop out.
Let me make that a little bit more segmented. Let me compartmentalize that. That's a military term, I believe. What games do you currently give a fuck about?
what currently is eating up my time? I guess?
October 5th, 2014,
Yeah.
9:55 p.m. What games do you, Wes Gray, currently give a fuck about?
Right now, I'm playing through Shadows of Mordor and Destiny.
Shadows of Mordor and Destiny.
Oh,
Nate, what
my
you
turn?
got?
Well, I haven't played Shadows of Mordor yet. It's on my list. I'm getting the new Smash Bros. this coming week on 3DS because I gotta have that in my life
Yeah,
to tide me over till the Wii U version, which
Absolutely.
is supposedly hitting us in November.
we'll see
So
about that.
don't shake your head. I need it in my life. Honestly, right now I am wasting a lot of my life playing Minecraft on my PlayStation 4 because that came out.
Nice.
Nice.
I am going to take it upon myself to build the Resident Evil mansion in Minecraft.
That sounds like what
It's gonna take forever.
Yes.
Do you know the layout? Do you have blueprints?
I'm going to get them
From where?
online. I've seen some videos of people that have already built their version of the mansion.
Get out of here. They have blueprints for that online.
Kinda. Like, you can find the layout for the mansion and be like, okay, this room goes here. Yeah, you can
That's
find
pretty
it.
sweet.
It's going to take forever.
How do they know what?
That's where you're
Did
pulling up the
Capcom release this?
No, you're just pulling up the game and you're literally walking through the level.
I
Taking
am
screenshots?
I am using other people's hard work to help make mine a little less difficult.
And I think that's pretty typical for Minecraft.
Yeah, pretty
It
much.
probably is.
All right, you guys made the layout. Now I can just follow that.
Right.
And when I first started playing Minecraft, like I want to say 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when it first came out, we'd have entire servers that were nothing but sprites. Like, you know, you
I've
literally
seen
sit there, build a two-dimensional, one brick wide sprite of old, Mega Man or
Oh, yeah.
your favorite Pokemon. And you just go online and like look up the sprite and go box by box. And
It's like digital perler beads.
yeah,
I mean, that's all it is. You just get a size and
and now that it's on the consoles, people are just going three-dimensional with it, and
oh, it's nuts all the time.
So-
So yeah.
So
That-
you said Destiny, Minecraft.
no, he was Destiny. Destiny, I haven't dabbled in a little too much yet because Destiny's one of those games that I've heard you pretty much have to play with friends to make that a worthwhile experience. I think. Your opinion?
well, from what I've played, and I played the majority of it has just been solo.
Really?
There had been a couple nights where I have some Xbox Live friends that have just been like, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you playing Destiny? Okay, cool. Let's go do this or go do that." But basically playing the storyline, and I mean they have features like the strikes, which are basically a first-person shooter dungeon, I guess.
Yeah.
That automatically add people to your group. It's like you're all in there. There are individual loot tables, so you're not worried about somebody
Right.
else.
I've always said it looked really cool. I played the beta. The beta was fun. It's just funds have been a little tighter, so I've had to prioritize what I'm spending my money on, and Destiny so far hasn't made it.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, even on the 360, which is unfortunately what I'm playing it on, the visuals are pretty kick-ass.
So basically, let me ask the question: is Destiny worth buying a next-gen console for?
Well,
Alone?
You're playing it on 360,
Yeah, I was gonna say-
right?
considering I didn't have to, I would say no, but it wasn't just for me personally.
Me?
See, I haven't played the last gen version. I mean, like, I only played the beta. I mean, it looked great. I don't know if I would consider it like the new gen defining game. Somebody was at Shadow of Mordor. I know someone we work with actually said that Shadow of Mordor was the first game that he bought that justified his purchase of a PlayStation 4.
Is Shadows of Mordor, you think, worth it then? Would that be worth? Because you're playing out that on your PC, so
On
you
PC,
have like a pretty gnarly rig with. Give us your specs real quick on your rig.
Well, I mean, one of the defining issues with the Shadows of Mordor is it requires a little over 6 gigabytes of virtual RAM.
Okay.
My rig has 32 gigabytes currently. Kicking
the solid-state hard drive?
No. Honestly, there's a delay. Most people don't realize that, but there's, even with a solid state hard drive, you still have the translation delay between that and your graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really speeding anything up. You're speeding up the processes, but as far as the video is going, you're not helping yourself with a solid state drive.
What graphics card are you running?
I've got two SLI GX 660s.
How much RAM is that? Video?
I don't even.
I'd say around 16. 8 per card, probably, right?
They're 32 cards, so.
I fucking hate you. Alright. That's pretty rad. So, what chipset do you use, by the way?
The i7.
Okay. Intel guy.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Intel's good.
What the business is.
Now, to elaborate on your little what's worth buying in next gen, here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's games that I'll talk about later that are coming out next year that I'm like, yeah, this is why I have my PlayStation 4. But there's another thing that just the kind of person I am, I'm primarily a console player because I just haven't built my own kick-ass PC, whatever. I bought a PS4 so that I could play like the more definitive versions of games. So like Shadows of Mordor versus like the 360 version they're going to make if they are, versus like the new gen. I want to play the best version of that I can get shy of having a PC. So that's why I have mine.
Understood.
I mean, and I know that any game I put on my console, I can run it.
That's true. That's the thing, like, not to discredit PC by any means, because if you can afford a PC rig, by all means do it.
I know.
But
don't even go that far because, like, I'd say I've probably spent about $750 on my computer.
That's it?
$750.
Your graphics card alone was probably at least $350.
But I'm buying parts as they come on sale,
right.
Like Newegg or Tiger Direct. But
I mean, it's not inherently expensive. It's not
in.
inherently as expensive as a lot of people used to think it is, depending on what you're getting.
True.
How like if you're gonna go out and buy like what's the new card that GE or Nvidia just released? It's crazy.
You got me. I have no idea.
I think it's a couple $1,000s.
Right.
But who needs that right now?
right. But my whole thing with buying a PC and why I haven't bought a next-gen console is because this current generation of gaming platforms is eventually going to be outdated, and there's going to be an even better, PS5.
The cycle will start.
Yeah, but
that's like 8 years down the road, though, dude.
when that happens, someone's going to be shilling out, possibly another $500 to $1,000 for a new platform.
Mm-hmm.
In the same amount of time, I've already outpaced, the current gaming platforms.
I know.
And for barely, a 10% more investment?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. I counter that with your games are going to be gimped because my console can't. If my console can't run it, they have to make it run on the PC and the console. You suffer because of my limitations. You're welcome.
That's a big topic too among most gamers. Have consoles ruined PC gaming?
Ruined? No, but I mean they have held it back a little bit because consoles are still super popular, and because there's something that people. Because your average family, it's not just a game console, it's their Netflix machine, it's like a little multimedia thing they have under their TV.
Yes.
And they have to make the games run on that, so they don't want there to be such a disparity between the PC and the console, because then, of course, console people will get really mad. The gamers, I mean, we know. We get mad about all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So, in a way, it does, because they have to make sure that okay, well, we have to give the console people something that's fairly comparable to the PC. PC is mostly just going to look prettier, and that's what they pretty much do. I mean, come on. Tell me that's not true.
I mean, what you're speaking of, I can get all that versatility and more out of my PC.
Yeah, you can.
I can. Well, I mean, anyone could. It's just
easier for them to go to Walmart and buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, throw a game in it, and not worry about it.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing.
And I mean, like it's
so what you're saying is it's just consumerism at its worst.
Absolutely.
We're just like plug and play.
It's
what I want.
Exactly.
Not only that, dude, but if you have a problem with your PC, you have how many components in there that could go wrong? Whereas if it's a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Wii U.
Same amount of components.
It's one person. It's one company though. You're not calling, Intel for this. You're not calling if your chipset breaks or burns or melts. You still only call Sony on a PlayStation. And it makes it easy. Whereas not only that, but you understand the average Joe, as we all know, working where we work, won't say the name, but we all know that most general consumers either A, don't own a computer, period, or B, haven't had the slightest idea how to build a computer. And I think that's really what separates PC gaming from consoles, in my opinion.
What you're saying is you have to have a certain level of knowledge to play with a PC?
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Or you have to be willing,
somebody.
or you have to be willing to shell out tons of money to get like an Alienware or whatever you think the best gaming PC is.
Rich nerds.
Oh no, we're not going to start on that. I know.
Rich nerds, basically.
Yeah, it's like you either already know how to build it yourself, or you're going to go drop a lot of money for someone else to build it for you.
Exactly.
So playing the game, no, that doesn't take a lot. But like,
though in our circle of friends, though, I'm sure there are countless people that would be more than willing to go, oh yeah, I'll take $25 and just the cost of parts, and I'll build you a kick-ass rig.
Absolutely.
It's true. I mean, yeah, we are, and I mean, most people nowadays probably do. They probably just don't want to go through it.
Everybody's got some computer nerd friend that'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, totally.
They're just
like,
waiting to have somebody. Yeah.
But again, it's just a boiling down to like, because I had a guy back in high school who was supposed to build a computer for us, and that ended up not going through because he just kind of dicked around too much. So it's another one that's like, okay, I can either hope my trustworthy buddy actually builds the damn computer and doesn't take a year to do it, or I could, again, just go down to my local Target and buy the console and just play Shadows of Mordor today.
Or how about, actually learning and taking the money and going, all right, what parts do I need?
You are asking the average consumer to learn things.
My bad.
How dare you?
I should know better than that.
You should. This is America. It's called freedom.
God.
And freedom is definitely not free in America.
It costs about $1.05.
Yeah. And when it comes to getting a console, it costs a lot more. You have the freedom to build your own PC, but the other freedom, I don't know where I'm going with that.
I was saying this isn't going anywhere.
By the way,
Boils down
Master,
to it's just, oh yeah, the DM walked in.
Dungeon Master Ryan McDonald has joined us, and the lights just flickered
How's it going?
when he opened the refrigerator.
That's alarming.
Yep, they returned.
Let's shut this and see what happens. No. Nothing.
All right, so we lost some light in the Santa Monica studio here. Also, welcome Vanessa.
Thank you.
And it looks like they returned from the fresh market with some really delicious looking. Is that crab legs that you got there? And
I believe that's fresh cut roast beef.
That's even curly crab legs.
oh, curly crab legs and fresh roast beef from, is that Arbe's?
Arbe's.
Arbe's Market? All right, fancy. You guys, let's keep going with this. So,
all right, what's
Ryan,
up?
you're welcome to chime in whenever you want. The initial question was, what game do you give a fuck about currently?
Right now.
It's in you being a dungeon master. Let me explain to the general populace that a dungeon master is a Dungeons and Dragons or any role-playing game under the sun. You're the brains behind the operation of that game. You run the game for everyone else to
You hide behind a
experience.
board to torment the players.
Yes.
That's your job.
Yep.
So I realize you probably play video games as well.
Oh, yeah.
But what are you currently playing?
Let's see.
By the way, thank you for coming in when you did, because we started the whole PC versus console discussion and it was just going.
We managed to cut that off. It's like, oh, just come back.
Well, I was going to chime in with my opinion, but never mind.
You're welcome to.
Now, when you say currently, do you
Yes.
mean what do I like that's current, or what do I like currently?
Right now in the video game world, what are you playing? What games do you give a fuck about? Something that, has just been released that you've been playing, something that's coming out just really soon that you're like, yeah, this is something I'm interested in.
The last things I've really played that I was interested in, like to the point where it was like ridiculous, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Skyrim. But Skyrim, I realized, came out in, 2012, 11? I've been playing it since then. So
as those games have staying power, so...
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a huge game, too, though.
GTA 5
big
reminds
world.
me...
It's good.
I mean, the new gen versions are coming out. That's something I'm pretty stoked about. FYI. November, I think, they're re-releasing GTA 5 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah, the definitive versions, so I'm going to get it again. And the reason I traded in the old one only because they announced that all of your everything that you've done in GTA Online is going to transfer over no matter what console you played it on. Like I played on the 360, so all my online GTA stuff will transfer over to my PS4. So that makes me happy.
That's pretty cool.
So once they announced that, I was like, done, getting rid of the 360 version.
Were you playing online when the thing broke and they gave everyone
Yeah, I got like the $500,000 they gave everybody.
Same here.
So I was like, yeah, because I played it first month, or I tried to play it.
Yeah, we all.
I load online, you get stuck on the first racing mission, you're like, God damn it.
It took me 3 days of dedicated
I
attempts.
just gave up. I was like, they'll fix it. It's like when New Vegas came out. Couldn't play New Vegas for a full month because it kept erasing my game saves. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna wait till they patch it.
Right.
See, my problem with GTA 5 wasn't that they needed to patch it or it was fucking up. It was literally the controls are so above and beyond GTA 3, GTA 4, GTA, Vice City, what have you, that it was like a completely different game.
It was still... No.
If you go after playing an hour of GTA 5, you go back and play one of the previous games, you are going to suck at driving a car. You're going to suck at aiming a gun.
That's because they have definitely changed the way the physics work. Still better than GTA 4, because 4 also had that thing. 4 missed a lot of the fun that GTA was known for. Like, it had some funny bits. I'm not talking about your cousin calling you up and looking at big American titties all the time, because that was not fun.
No.
Because that was annoying. Big American titties. That's how he said it.
He was a jack.
Come on, Nico. Nico. Yeah. Hey, you want to go bowling, cousin? No, I don't. Fuck you, Roman. Yeah. And your buddies would always call you up and be like, hey, you want to go hang out with me? And if you said no, it pissed them off and it lowered your friendship level with them. Why does GTA have a goddamn friendship level? It's Grand Theft Auto. I'm here to blow shit up.
Exactly.
I shouldn't have friends.
But whatever.
Going down the unfortunate
Five did bring a lot of that fun back. I mean, it was vibrant. It was, it was back in, oh my God, what's their version of California called?
Los Santos?
Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
So they brought that back.
Brought the token black guy back.
Oh yeah,
Don't forget
yeah.
that.
Franklin had Chop the Rottweiler.
Yes.
Of course he does. That dog is retarded.
Yep. How cliche wasn't that, by the way? Black guy with a Rottweiler. No,
Hey, you also got to play as a meth addict.
racing thug.
Meth addict?
I mean, yeah, Trevor was a meth addict. so he's-
To be honest, yeah, I could not believe that they just took the whole Whiskey Tango operation to full-fledged trailer status, just trailer park,
Oh, it was great.
local retarded trailer park.
His cousin
member.
is a fucking juggalo.
Yeah, the Juggalo.
It's great, dude.
I love the conspiracy theory tie-ins. I should mention, I'm with Ronald on the...
Oh, it's going to be Ronald. I see how it is.
Dungeon Master Ronald.
I'll take that out. I'm with Mr. McDonald on the GTA 5.
Fucking Ronald McDonald in here.
Yeah.
That's some shit.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's
That was not intentional
okay.
whatsoever.
It's not the first time.
He was thinking of Ronald McDonald.
I just mixed Ryan and McDonald together, and it just becomes like...
Ronald.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to elementary school. It's okay.
Oh, that was a good burn.
And I am still in
We could
elementary school.
we could have left that in the podcast.
We'll
That
leave
would've
it
been-
in. Let's just leave it in. All right,
Why
but
not?
I'm with you there. Like, I literally just finished GTA 5, I think a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and because I'd been I refused to play any other game until I finished a game that I'm really in love with. I fell in love with that game and played it beginning to end.
And that was another game that since they are releasing the new gen version, I did stop playing. I was like, I don't want to do all this crap again, so I'm just gonna cut it here.
Yeah, I do plan on playing it online for a little bit.
Oh, and I know that how many players are in the online version currently? It's like 16. They're
At
upping,
least 16.
They're upping it to
Yeah.
30 for the new gen, so
Well,
30
here's-
people in one city.
Here's, I think, a relevant question there. What do you think of the way they're selling, the newer games, like Destiny, for example, where they're selling a copy for a previous, the 360, but they're going, all right, if you buy this before December 21st, for $10 more, you can get the Xbox One version.
Well, whenever they first launched the PS4, for instance, like Ghost came out, which was a terrible fucking Call of Duty game, even by someone who likes the Call of Duty games. If you bought the previous gen version, you could upgrade for $10, right? And and the lights came back. Oh, never mind. Wait.
Oh wait, it's got to do with this power strip over here.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, so I think that's a pretty cool incentive. It's like, hey, if you already own this game, we'll only charge you $10 to get the new gen version. If you
like that. You enjoy that.
I think that. Okay, that's a different thing. I have a.
Why'd you phrase it like that?
Well, I'm just saying, because it's that damn consumer bullshit where they're like, you want to buy this next gen console.
Yeah.
We're gonna help you out. We're gonna hook you up.
Oh yeah, dude. They're the crack dealer. They're offering you a deal.
Yeah, because you don't want to play this game on this old console. Yeah, you want to buy it. You want to play it now because it just came out. But you really want to play it on the next gen.
Yeah, and that's why I bought a PlayStation 4 because I want to play them on the next gen.
Is PS4 4K compatible?
For games, no, but movies, yes.
Are they going to do 4K resolution games?
I don't think it's capable of that.
PS5?
PlayStation 5, they'll probably do 4K.
I was just curious. I could not remember.
I know that it's 4K ready for video, but not for games.
So you can literally go on your PS4 right now and stream 4K video to your...
Yeah, if I had a 4K TV,
4K,
which those are actually... Vizio just announced like a 50-inch one that's like $1,000, and that's really affordable. So I am going to hate my life probably next year whenever I have to talk myself out of getting
I'm just like one of those people, I'm like, 1080p is good enough for me.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until they drop a little lower, but eventually I know I'm going to buckle and buy one. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
After that, it's just going to be straight hologram displays.
Well, I was saying they already have 8K televisions. They showed them at the same show that 4K was a big thing. Like, yeah, we have a fucking 8K TV.
Jesus.
And it's like, okay.
Well. The other thing is, who the fuck is making content for an 8K TV in 2014
They're
when we
not.
just got 4Ks affordable?
I think it was Sharp that Sharp or one of those companies showed off their 8K. They're just, it's like, hey, we already have the tech. Eventually this is coming. I don't think it's like a commercial release.
I don't know if anybody else has seen now, but like the Blu-rays have gone from just Blu-ray and 3D Blu-ray to now high-def Blu-ray. So like,
what does that fucking mean?
This is like 4,000 or 8,000 quality.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying. Some of the Blu-rays that are coming out are saying that they're 4K resolution Blu-rays.
So they're like ready, like you could pop in your PS4 and get that beautiful 4K.
Probably not a PS4, but
if you even have the eyes to see it, like.
And that's another thing. Is like, 4K. I think we probably can't even tell the difference as much. It's like we're hitting the cap. Eventually, it's like, yeah, this isn't 20K. I might as well be blind. I don't know the difference now.
Under a lot of circumstances, I have a hard time telling the difference between 720 and 1080.
Generally,
I can tell the difference.
Maybe it's because my monitor is small and I usually sit far away from it.
Yeah, now it does depend.
Inches.
And that's another thing with, like, if you're going to get a 4K TV, you might as well make it huge to take advantage of it, because that's how you're going to...
At least 45, 50 inches.
Have you seen the 110-inch 4K TV that Vizio showed off at the CES this year?
No.
It's the size of... trying to find it.
That sounds big. That's the size
okay,
of the couch, right?
Hey, you know where the fridge is there?
Yeah.
The fridge to that wall, it's like that fucking wall. And it sits on the floor.
It's like a love seat, basically.
No, like that, width.
Gotcha.
It takes up that whole wall, it sits on the floor, it's great.
Okay, that's a big couch. That's a legit 4-person seater.
It's probably, you know what, TV's probably about as wide as that couch you're sitting on right now.
That's what
it's a huge...
See, at that point, I'm like, why don't you just get a projection TV? Or, I mean, not a projection, but a projector.
I had a buddy that, when he lived in his house, he just had a high-def projector that he just had a thing on his wall, and that's what he did. Because, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, well, we kind of, my bad there. We got way off.
We got on a tangent.
Fair enough. Let's bring it back to where we were at. We were talking about GTA 5.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, new gen.
PS4.
And he was bringing up the whole
we got to talk
$10 games.
I mean, speaking of reselling your games back to you, we got to talk about Nintendo Wii U and Smash Brothers there, because we were talking about that a little bit before we started.
Yeah, that's. I gotta pick that up this week.
Anyone who's mastered selling the same game back to you over and over again, it's Nintendo.
And you know why? Because they're damn good games.
They are good games. They're good. They're the best franchises. Let's be honest here. Mario games from day one on to day 3 billion, they're gonna sell for $30, $40, generally whatever they initially sold for years.
They
and
don't.
years.
They don't drop.
They don't
price
drop in value.
like
Anything
that
with
quick.
Mario,
Like
it's
Super
like
Mario
gold.
Sunshine is still worth like $35.
I still regret that I didn't buy that used when I saw it for $20.
All it is Mario running around cleaning up poo. That's all it is.
And you know what? That's a game that, looking back on it, it was way funner than I gave it credit for back in the
It's a
day.
good game.
yeah.
It's a good game.
It was all right.
I have nostalgia goggles, all
There's
right?
people that hated that game.
Oh, there
so
were.
much.
When I know people. They're like, dude, that game was terrible. I was like, but have you played it recently? It's probably a little better than you remember
I've
being.
never heard that opinion before.
I remember,
Really?
Yeah.
I know people that
Oh,
hated
yeah.
Mario Sunshine.
I worked at Circuit City when that game was released, and just so much hatred came from customers. Like, what are the dudes in this game that aren't Mario characters? Who are these, like, guys in the...
Why does Mario have a water backpack?
Yeah, like,
What is
what?
this?
Is this really a Mario game?
You want
or...
to talk about games that came out the game people hated whenever it first came out? Got a lot of backlash. Let's go Wind Waker. What is?
Hey.
Oh no! When they first, before it came out, and everyone realized, oh, this is actually a good game. Whenever they just
Okay.
released the first screenshots
We
and
got-
videos, the
okay.
cell shaded.
Oh man.
And we got to talk about the alternate realities here, okay?
Oh god.
Two different Zelda realities, two different Mario realities.
The different timelines
the
and
different
stuff.
universes.
There are 3 timelines.
Okay, exactly.
There-
See?
At
Yeah.
least.
I would say, we're talking to the guy that has the damn Triforce on his shirt and his vehicle.
I was
so.
gonna say,
The guy whose son is named, I believe, after a character.
yeah, his name's Link.
Cute kid, by the way.
In the Hyrule
They're gonna
Historia,
crap.
Yes.
there are 3.
Cute kid, way to go, West.
Way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How old is he? 2?
He's 4.
Okay.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Almost
you
there.
know,
Way to go. It's a boy.
It's an
All right.
Mazel tov.
You were saying.
Well, in Hyrule Historia, which is like the compendium of all Hyrule
Which I have on my Wii
lore.
U, which is fantastic.
Outstanding. There are 3 recognized timelines, all starting place with your favorite, the
I'm gonna let you come to.
Hyrule?
I just totally brain farted the game. Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah, because because they don't release the games in chronological order. Skyward Sword is like a progenitor.
No, they're all over the place with when the games are, and I think for the majority of like earlier gen games, they just kind of like, oh, okay, this one came before that one, because clearly.
And then they eventually okay, we have a timeline now.
But like you said, they're reselling the same concept. I wouldn't say they're reselling the same game over and over again, but they're
Unless you're talking about New Super Mario Brothers.
okay.
Yeah.
Those games.
Super Mario Sunshine, I will jump in there. I will say that sucked. I hated that game. It came out of nowhere.
Can
I'm
you
just
still
like,
be his friend?
what the F is this? But that's not to say any departure from like regular standard.
Right.
I love Paper Mario. I don't know
dude.
if you guys ever play Paper Mario, like start to finish. That game is freaking awesome.
Paper Mario was legit.
Paper Mario on the 64. I have beat that game so many times I would beat it, delete my game save, because it only had 4 game slots. I filled those up and then went back and beat it again. I loved Paper Mario on the 64.
Excellent game.
I would run through and do runs and be like, what's the max level of stars I can get? Like,
Have they released that in HD yet? Not that they need
no.
No, I think
And
the last
then-
one that came out was on the Wii.
to. Yeah. So I remember when it came
Technically,
out.
it was a 3DS.
Well,
That's
yeah.
sticker star,
Still not
whatever,
quite
which
HD.
was fun. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
And even the Wii version still. I mean, I like the concept they did where they introduced the thing where like it shifted from the 2D, like, oh, here's a 3D perspective. It still wasn't anything close to original or Thousand Year Door. I really liked Thousand Year Door.
So and this is kind of along the lines of what I wanted to talk about here.
Yeah.
But when you purchase a new game,
Mhm.
are you spending more money, or are you more
Innovation
apt
and
to spend
nostalgia.
money on a game that's got like all the newest bells and whistles, or spend money on a game that's got familiar characters or storyline or gameplay type, something that takes you back to your childhood?
And I was actually going to touch on that because we were talking. I made fun of like us gamers in general just not liking one thing or the other. That's a big thing. Is like, okay, new Zelda game that's coming out. It's like they're going to make it more open world because they're trying to, like you said, he's caught between like innovating and delivering on what Zelda fans want.
Yeah.
You're never going to appease. Like if you make it too different, people are going to bitch about it. If you make it too the same, people bitch about it. it's really tricky making that middle ground. Because, I mean, you do have to innovate in a certain way. Especially, with, like, okay, Zelda, it's been fun. I like, what was the 3DS game that we played? The one that was like a
Link
sequel.
Between Worlds?
Yeah. Like,
Yes.
I thought that was unique because they finally did it where, like, oh, you don't have to go get this item from this dungeon. You can tackle these dungeons any way you want. You just go buy the stuff you need.
Right.
Like, that was a cool way.
Rent it. That was.
Rent it, yeah. It wasn't buying it, but
Gamefly.
it's like, you could, you just gamefly the
Shout out
tools
to
you
Gamefly.
needed.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying there, but like you have to move forward. I mean, as a video game designer, you can't expect to earn your money and continue making games having the same 12 people buy.
It is true.
So, and I'll admit, like when Twilight Princess came out, because I'm a huge Zelda fan. When Twilight Princess came out and I started playing it, it was uncomfortable because it wasn't a typical Zelda storyline.
It was different.
It was way different. But as a Zelda fan, I stuck with it and I played it and eventually enjoyed a lot of the innovation, just the new concepts, the new ideas they were throwing at the whole story. Going back to Skyward Sword, that felt more comfortable for me because it was basically, I mean, obviously the world always changes in each new iteration, but it was a way better game. Did you guys play either?
I actually have not played either.
I didn't play Twilight Princess. What was the other title? Sorry.
Skyward Sword. That was on the Wii.
I didn't play it either.
They're both Wii titles.
Before the whole podcast, I brought up. I played probably about a third of Skyward Sword before I kind of got bored and just kind of stopped playing it. I should go back and play it. I mean, I actually really liked the art style. I liked how bright and vibrant that world was. I thought that was interesting how they did that.
Yeah, and they're going.
Honestly,
in that direction.
I went back and I beat the Wind Waker HD remake before I finished Skyward Sword. So
I did complete Wind Waker. Yeah, I never got into.
See,
I don't know why I never played Twilight Princess. I own a Wii, and I love Zelda.
Well, and see, Twilight Princess
Something just happened there.
It was a game that they released at the end of the GameCube's life cycle, and then they re-released it when the Wii first came out.
Yeah.
And it had motion controls. Fun fact of the day: Link's a lefty in the GameCube version and a righty in the Wii version because most people are right-handed, so they hold the Wii on their right hand.
Interesting.
So.
And that's so far the only iteration of Link that was right-handed.
Really?
Every other's been left, yeah.
Skyward Sword has to be right, though.
I never
right?
thought about that.
Is he?
This
I'll have to go back and check that.
He's a lefty.
He's
Link is a southpaw.
Yeah.
No idea.
Also where he holds his Triforce, like, indicator, the engram or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, with all these alternate realities, I guess we need to get back to your question. You're stating,
What's more
would I
important?
rather buy something for innovation or stick with what I know?
If you had to throw your money toward one or the other for the rest of time, what is more important to you?
Dude, that's a hard question to answer.
That is a really hard question to answer because in a lot of ways it's both. Like,
It is.
Like we were talking about Zelda.
Let's just go with what have you historically in your past? What have you spent more money on?
Here's what it is for me. Okay, I want to use Tanuki Suit as a reference here because every game needs to have that Tanuki Suit mechanic in it. It all started with Super Mario Brothers fucking 3 and the goddamn Tanuki Suit. All right, it was this item that you get that just blew your fucking mind. You're like, I can be a statue and I can fly at the same time. I'm on it. And then it's from that point on, Mario World came out. I get the cape. Awesome. I dig it.
They just keep adding.
I get to do this nose thing, and I get to fucking ride a dinosaur around. Are you kidding me? This is the most awesome thing ever. And it just keeps getting better. And then, for some reason, they decided to throw poop in for me to clean with a spray hose in the N64 version.
GameCube.
Okay, there are gameplay innovations. There are gameplay innovations where it's
in
like
franchises.
this is a fun new addition. Let's throw this in.
Yeah.
And then there's a story choice, which is you are harnessed into this fucking water gun for the entire game. Fuck you, player. You don't get a choice.
But then the thing with that is, because some people really liked it. Like I said, when I first played it, I didn't hate it. I was like, this is weird and different. And now that I've thought about it, I was like, it had a lot of merit to it that I enjoyed. it tried something different. It didn't necessarily work. You notice Flood never came back except for in Smash Bros. As one of his extra moves or whatever.
Yeah.
They tried it. It didn't work out as great. People didn't like it, so they're like, okay, back to the drawing board. What can we do for the new Mario game? What can we do for the new Mario game, Mario Galaxies? Planets.
But it's, okay, so
Yeah, which was legit, but
Mario
was that
Galaxies
a game mechanic, or was
Well,
it just like, hey guys, we're gonna make this world huge?
Well, I mean, it was.
Wouldn't that be a game mechanic?
I mean, the game.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, Mario Galaxy. Its game mechanics was that you were on these tiny. It was like a large world, but it was segmented, and then you like jumped into a cannon, shot to the next thing, and it was. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
I mean, Galaxy 1 was great. In Galaxy
It
2, they
was.
added Yoshi back because everyone loves Yoshi. They kept adding weird suits. There was a Bee Mario and a Cloud Mario and a Spring Mario, I think, in the Galaxy games. It's like they're just running out of shit. New Super Mario Brothers U and whatever has the flying squirrel suit. Just give me the goddamn Tanuki suit. I don't need a flying squirrel.
Right? I could just be the Tanuki suit again, or and
They're
then you
just-
got the Cat Mario
Dude,
and Mario.
Okay, legitimately though, let's start with
Yeah.
Cat Mario for a second. That is just so ridiculous. It brings a smile on my face every time. Plus, I play as Luigi, and his cat has all these little awesome polka dots on it.
Cat Mario is awesome. You're like falling off a wall? Not anymore.
Yeah, it's really cutesy, but it's super fun. So,
It is.
but yeah, what is going to be next? Oh, presenting for Super Mario Wii U, Ferret Mario. You can tunnel under entire spaces. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
enemies avoid you because you smell like pee.
That's a game mechanic.
I think, I mean, to answer your question, Wes, with my example of Mario Brothers, I think truly you can get both of those with most franchises.
Yeah, Nintendo, yeah, sure.
With Nintendo, I mean, as far as
All right,
I'm gonna use Assassin's Creed as an example here. That game
let's
literally been the same every time I've ever seen it. I've not seen much change in the mechanics. It's just the same fucking game over and over.
Yeah, we
again.
can discuss that because okay, one was obviously the game that, like sold you on the premise. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun. 2 perfected that formula and was great, and then ever since then, you know, they kind of haven't changed a lot about it. I know Unity. Actually, I'm actually kind of looking forward to because I like that time period for one, but I know they're doing that whole 4-player co-op thing that they're going to do that as a thing now.
Yeah.
So I think they've been working on that one for like 4 or 5 years, what I've been reading. So I know they're trying some things different, but we won't know till it comes out on. When is that coming out? I actually have that on here somewhere.
How about using that old-fashioned paper?
Oh yeah, I go analog. I have a hard copy. You'll understand.
Yeah.
November 11th.
Did you play 4? Because as much as I hate to admit, I'm so behind on video games that I got that on Christmas.
I
and
did
still
play.
have not
I
touched
did
it.
play 4. I ended up trading that in a couple months back. I mean, I played through most of it. 4 didn't innovate a ton, but they took because 3 wasn't that great. 3 took a long time to get started and get like going anywhere, and then it wasn't that great. But the whole ship battle things that they had in that game, like those were really fun. People were like, "Oh, that's surprising! You guys put a really fun battleship simulator thing in your game." So 4, they're like, "Dude, pirates! We can just have ships everywhere," and that was actually a lot of fun, just sailing around. And then you could press a button to activate sea shanties,
Okay, so
and you
they
could
did-
collect more sea shanties for them to sing.
That's
they did
pretty
expand
great.
that.
And they've been adding little touches like that in each of
You want
the
another? You want a series that innovates, air quotes. Let's bring up the tried and true Call of Duty franchise.
Oh god.
No, we're going to because
It's not our franchise.
no.
Like I said, it's those 12 guys continually buying the same game.
Yeah.
More
Now,
like 12.
now here's the deal. Generally with Call of Duty, for the most part, we know it's the same thing. It's new maps. They tweak little things. Generally, it's still pretty decent. For about a year, the new one comes out. But then you have games like I hated Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, everyone has their own like hates and loves. Like some people hate Black Ops,
You
and
can't.
some people don't.
A game that's purely PvP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a game where the design is focused purely
Well,
around.
there's a one-player version too.
I'm sure there is.
There is a campaign.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure it's horrible. But
Oh, they're action-packed.
Yeah.
Michael Bay quality writing.
I'm sure it is. But games like that where they just focus entirely on, okay, we're just going to have people going at people online. That's almost its own creature. It's almost its own.
Well, it is now, but
Totally.
the biggest thing, for instance, like Infinity Ward used to be the studio that everyone looked at and was like, yeah, these are the guys that make the good ones. Treyarch makes the not quite as good ones. Then Infinity Ward broke up, and then everyone's like, holy shit, Treyarch actually makes pretty decent Call of Duty games compared to this shit that they're churning out now. Ghost was an abysmal game. I played that game for like 3 months, traded that in.
Abysmal in 3 months in the same sentence.
Well, here's the deal. I gave it a chance. I give it a chance because I didn't play like every day for 3 months, but I would pop it in maybe on like the weekends and be like, I'll give it a chance, and immediately remember why I hate this fucking game. So I got rid of it. Maybe it was 2, whatever. It was the shortest amount of time aside from Modern Warfare 3 that I ever had one. Now, I only bring up Call of Duty because Advanced Warfare is coming out, and I know it's not vastly different, but they are trying some different things with the whole exo abilities. It makes it look kind of like they try to combine Quake and Call of Duty together, or like an arena shooter.
Yeah.
With like all the movement, because you can like jump, you can jump, double jump, and then like do verticality movements. I mean, they're trying something different in Call of Duty, a little bit. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, and this is their newest studio because let's bring that up. Now they have 3 damn studios working on it.
Oh, good grief! Let's
so they can keep churning. Well, because they can keep churning out every year, and it gives each studio an extra year to work on it.
Makes sense.
So instead of 2-year development cycles, they have 3 years now. Which I mean, kudos to Activision for realizing, hey, if we want to keep beating this dead horse, we need to have a little more time so the games have more polish.
Is there a horse left?
Dude, okay.
Well, they've resurrected the horse, killed it again.
Okay.
Contrast that to like the Assassin's Creed, okay? Where Assassin's Creed, the main draw for playing that over and over again, or playing the same game over and over again, is the storyline.
Yeah.
Whereas with your Call of Duty, it's the exact opposite.
I knew one guy who bought it for the campaign, and because he didn't have internet like to play it online. I was like, sir, friend, you're my buddy. I need to ask you, why the hell are you spending $60 to play the campaign in Call of Duty?
It's like I bought Modern Warfare. I guess it was Call of Duty 4 at the time.
Yeah.
I bought that
at the time.
I'm a big single player guy. I like multiplayer, sure, but I like I put almost 500 hours probably into Skyrim since its release.
Well, Skyrim allows you to put 500 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. And then I paid the full price for Modern Warfare, and it was a 4-hour campaign, and I told myself, never again.
Now, Modern Warfare,
it's cool if you want online.
Now, Modern Warfare 1 and 2, like, those campaigns, even though they were short, I mean, those still had fairly interesting stories, but you're buying Call of Duty for the multiplayer, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell buys Battlefield to play the single player?
Nobody does.
That's right.
Battlefield has a single player?
So that is exactly.
I legitimately didn't know.
There is one there.
Basically, what I end up asking is why did these games exist? Why can't games like that have the middle ground of like the Halo franchise, where there is a compelling first-person storyline?
There's a compelling first-person storyline in Halo?
For sure.
For some people.
I mean, if you've never played it, that's fine. As much as me.
I played Halo. I just don't remember there being that much compelling storyline.
Okay,
well, it's better if you play all
John,
of them.
Compelling compared to some of its competitors. Let's go that way.
We were just talking about Call of Duty.
So yeah, compared to Call of Duty, that shit is Shakespeare. Yeah, that's what Halo is. Okay, that is a sonnet compared to
Destiny is a continuation of that.
Destiny, from what I hear, doesn't really have that much of a story, really.
I thought they used the same symbol that they used in the initial Bungie game, Marathon. Was it called? Yeah, Marathon, I believe. Yeah, they have had that same symbol through all of their games.
Yeah, Destiny though doesn't take place in the same universe or on the same storyline.
Now you may see some similarities because space shooting. I mean that kind of stuff.
The controls,
it's its own, and
But they have a very polished control set.
Yeah, for what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And from what Destiny doesn't really have that great of a story. I've been reading that a lot recently. That it's just not.
There are a lot of plot holes. Yeah.
Well, and it's just like, they crafted this first-person shooter MMO kind of thing, and they're like, we should probably put some kind of story elements in here. Because that's another thing is that because there's been a few games that have tried to do that whole thing where they combine the single player and the multiplayer together. Like Titanfall doesn't really have a story.
Not at all.
Because less so even than Destiny. But Titanfall, they tried. It's like, well, there's no actual single player campaign. The campaign, you kind of get some of the story by playing the matches.
And there's no plausibility for the story. I don't know if you guys have played any Titanfall or.
I played a little of the 360 version. I played through the campaign. Air quotes.
I read a review on IGN that was like, they actually did the math on if you play through the campaign or just you play, you know, a few days worth of multiplayer, and like the costs materialistically of building those Titans on a like every 30-second basis for an entire army of people, they were so exorbitant that like they would use up an entire planet's resources in a week.
I'm sure they recycle the mechs. It's fine.
I'm sure they do.
Except for the ones that go nuclear.
Yeah.
The ones that go boom, I'm sure they can't really get too much out of those.
But the thought is, like, if you're writing a compelling storyline, yeah, okay, you're going to look into little things. Whereas if you don't care about a storyline, it's Call of Duty.
Oh yeah,
it's Call of Duty.
And that's the thing. Yeah, Halo, compared to a lot of its competitors, did have a compelling story. You know, they tried to. It's just what they're going to focus the game on, because competitive multiplayer is a really big thing right now. Like, esports is huge. Like, esports is a really big scene right now, that they're going towards. So
what's more important?
What's more important to me? I like a good story-driven game. Or a game that, I could find I didn't play as much Skyrim, but when Oblivion came out, I think by the time I got done playing that game, I had played 300 hours of it. Because I would just go somewhere and I would find this random little thing. And it was like, oh, this is like a Call of Cthulhu reference. This is a little thing you might not have noticed. Yeah. I don't play those games for their story too much either, I guess, really. But
I think that's the thing. The key element about online gaming is that it really doesn't need to have a story if you're playing against a bunch of other people, because you are the character.
I disagree. I think what it boils down to for me is like the experience I had with GoldenEye, or my first real first-person shooter.
Going back to GoldenEye.
There was a campaign where before I even knew, hey, we could have hella fun sitting around a Nintendo 64 playing, I played the shit out of that campahing. I was James Bond, and I got to the point where I knew all the maps and where everybody pathed, and I could headshot,
Oh yeah, I learned the maps, and you'd increase the difficulty and go back through it and be like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then if you played the multiplayer enough, you knew where everybody spawned, and you'd be that dick that put the remote bombs wherever they spawn.
Boom.
And then proximity mines, that's what it was.
But
just throw a couple of those down.
That's what I'm saying. That's my ideal. That's why aren't games aiming for something like that, where it's like, okay, you've got these elements in the campaign.
You have a good single player and a good multiplayer.
That they're solid enough that you can translate into a multiplayer. Yeah.
It's just capitalism. I mean, if you can sell just multiplayer, why not sell just multiplayer?
And the other thing is, why give individualism when you can just do 4 swords? Same character, 4 fucking times.
4 different colors.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
Also, just because game development, the budgets have just gotten so bloated on those games. Like your AAA development, Destiny costs what, $500,000 to make?
Wow.
Yeah. Really? That's it?
Well, yeah, that's actually the most expensive game. That beat GTA 5, which I think was like $250,000.
Really?
Or not $1 million. Sorry, Sorry. I am
$250 million.
Yeah, $250 million. Destiny cost $500 million. $500 million to make Destiny. The most expensive game made to date.
So beat Shenmue.
Those budgets. Yeah, I was saying million. I meant billion.
Shenmue was like $7 million, and that was ridiculous back in the '90s. By the way,
I still own Shenmue 2.
Dude, Shenmue
on the original Xbox.
My bad, bringing that
I'm looking for some sailors.
I'm sure you
Have you seen these sailors?
Have you seen
sailors around?
Are there any sailors?
That never gets old.
Never. It will never. The moment I found that used copy of Shenmue 2 for $5 at Game Crazy before that shut down, I was like, gold. It is mine.
But yeah.
You know what I wish they'd throw $500 million at? What is it? Monkey Island.
A $500 million from LucasArts that doesn't even exist anymore. $500 million budget.
What about Worms?
Wow, dude. First-person shooter Worms, where there's like 32 players on the map, and everybody has to take turns.
I think if we're going to talk about the ideal game,
now,
we'll be talking about a Pokemon MMO.
Oh, God.
We have talked about that for
my
a while.
life.
People have tossed that idea around forever, and yes, that would ruin a lot of lives.
Can't be done. That would be a $1 billion game.
It would.
I talked so hard about getting Pokemon for 3DS, and I never bought it either. That's the crazy thing.
I'm going to share my disappointment that I bought Pokemon for the 3DS, and I don't know where the hell it is.
X and Y is okay.
Very sad.
I felt like it was too easy for me.
It was, but then I can't tell if that's...
I'm not 11 anymore.
I can't talk into whether or not it's like, it's just because...
You're not? Holy shit.
See, that's actually something I thought about when I was discussing it with some friends of mine when it came out. It's like, I can't tell just because the games are easier or because I'm an adult now. And it's like, oh, this shit's real simple.
Yeah. Should I be playing this game?
Like,
yeah.
Should I be raising children right now?
No, you know what?
Sorry.
I've got a dog. I don't need kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me
No offense to the parents in the room.
Tell me you're not going to buy the Pokemon Snap they're releasing for the Wii U.
What?
I can't tell you that.
Yes.
Well, it looks like I'm buying a Wii U.
Yeah, see, I can't tell you that.
Dude,
They were
Wii U
showing-
is awesome.
They were showing that Wii U, the handheld screen there, and he was like taking pictures and looking for Pokemon with it, and I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, we can get on a whole tangent with that. I have something later involving games that need to come for the Wii
Dude,
U.
we do need to get on this VR tangent. Speaking of using that screen in 360 degrees, because you've had
The
Oculus Rift for how long?
The Rift. I've had it for about a year now, actually.
And I mean, as far as your experience with Oculus Rift, and we'll kind of segue into future video games after we talk about VR. I just feel this is necessary. Facebook buying Oculus Rift for billions of dollars. Where do you see this going with you? You've had this for a year. Where do you see this VR thing heading?
In the current iteration, not anywhere fast.
I mean, is this going to be one of those things that someone buys and just it's like a gimmicky thing like Virtual Boy was, or do you see them really making this a legitimate thing that people are like? Do you wake up every morning playing your Oculus Rift saying, "Oh man, I can't wait to hop on my Oculus Rift today and do this"?
Truth be told, no. But on the same thing, in the development forums, when I see a new game that looks interesting, when I see something that like the Game of Thrones, the Wall.
Yeah.
When there's something that grabs my interest, I have to, and I have to experience it like that. When you're talking about like the Virtual Boy, it was just basically a screen.
That was blindness.
Yeah. It was.
You see these glasses? That's why. Virtual Boy.
But oh god. But when you're talking about the Rift, I mean, it's not anything like any previous attempt at virtual reality.
It is hard to describe.
I remember playing an arcade game. It was like a tank game where you had this.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, there was a headset, not unlike the Virtual Boy, where there were two screens, but there was an arm that would stick out over the machine itself, and it had its own screen. But you'd pull this down over your head and look through the view screens, and you'd aim the tank holding on to these two handles over your head and firing a tank in 360 degrees.
I mean, they've tried that stuff before, and now with the Rift and that kind of technology, they're finally getting to a place where it's actually. And now the Dev Kit 2's out, and they've added better motion tracking to it and higher definition screens and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't really messed with the Rift, but I mean, I have seen a lot of videos of people playing games on it. It's like, this looks. For instance, whenever I look at the Rift, all I can think of is, if I play a horror game, I am going to have a heart attack because it's right in front of my face.
Playing Slender, I've done it. I've made myself try to get all 8 pages in
Like
the
watching
original Slender.
watching people play these horror games
would
using
do
the
it.
Rift, I'm like, you know what? If I were to have to play like a new survival horror game on this thing, I might actually shit my pants.
Yeah.
Because it's just right there. Thank you.
So
okay,
And that brings up,
because we haven't even talked about it, but something you've experienced and something you quickly experience with virtual reality is our bodies aren't accustomed to these I want to say second-hand inputs. The motion that it's showing you in a virtual reality doesn't translate well with what your brain is picking up of reality around you.
right.
So
reality.
yeah, reality. But basically, when you're using like the Oculus Rift or any of those games for an extended period of time, any of the virtual reality or head screens, you get that disparity. My senses are telling me one thing, but they're also telling me this other thing, and you get sick. Your body can't handle it.
I have heard that. I've heard the Dev Kit 2, they've reduced some of that some way. I know. I don't remember. But again, it's like people that watch 3D movies and like they get headaches or like they can't do it.
No, this is.
I know this is worse. I'm just saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not really a visual thing as much as it is, like your sense of balance, I guess, or your bearings. Something to do with your cochlea.
So it's
inner ear.
It's made. So from what it sounds like, I mean, granted, Allison, she's been on this podcast many times. She definitely has issues with 3D movies. She gets headaches halfway through 3D movies when we watch them. Yeah. And I'm one of those people. I get motion sickness really easy. I can't read in a moving vehicle without getting motion sickness. So I feel like it's one of those things where you're just gonna have to. It's like becoming an astronaut, basically. You either got it or you don't.
Well.
See, I'm not like that in either way. I can watch full 3D movies.
I don't have a problem with 3D movies.
3D movies I never had a problem with. I used to get motion sick, and I got over that.
To me, it's one of those.
It's gonna have limitations.
It's one of those fundamental things where you either you got the right stuff to do it. What sucks though for me in my opinion on this whole thing, it's like, what if you really, really just want to just dive into this VR thing? But you can't because your fucking body is rejecting the whole concept.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to go anywhere until it is literally
like reality.
Signals.
It is going to hit kind of a niche market until it can get past that.
Until it's direct interaction with our
who
brain.
Are the lab rats, quote unquote, guinea pigs? They're going to be.
I think you're right. I think that's where it's going to start. It's going to be rats and guinea pigs and.
Tiny Oculus Rifts.
So despite all of our rage, we're still just rats in a VR cage.
I mean,
thank you for that.
Look at technology. Look at technology so far as far as like wiring implants into people's brains to let them hear, or let them see very simple images.
Oh yeah.
If they're
we're getting there. Closer and closer to Deus Ex.
Body mods, basically, like. Cyberpunk.
Just take
body mods.
Take that to its rational conclusion.
There's communities that exist that do that too, which is pretty sick. I mean, it's sick in a good way, like cool sick, in my opinion. That this is already a thing.
I quickly look forward to downloading my consciousness into a robotic body.
Yes.
I will abandon my flesh and humanity just as soon as I can.
Yeah, we've talked a few times about brain transplants.
Give me the robot legs. Let's go.
Given the opportunity, people are like, but you wouldn't love anymore. It's like, so? I can punch through brick walls. I
mean, technically, if I have my human brain, I would have the capacity to love until I realize I've lived for 1,000 years.
I should mention, too, Allison has told me, but I don't want to live forever. And I'm like, but I do want to live forever. I want the option. I want the option to opt out when I want to opt out. And what if I just never want to opt out? What if I want to live forever, baby?
Wow. Whenever the inevitable heat death of the universe happens, like, okay, I'm shutting down now.
Yeah. When it's all just decaying protons, then it's time to go.
Yeah, exactly. I'll opt out.
I'm going out on my terms. I'm going to switch off.
That escalated quickly.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
But it's, I mean,
I was just going to say, I want to see the console war go all the way to which implant do you want? You want the one in the left hemisphere or the right hemisphere?
Give me both, baby.
Nintendo choose.
Nintendo give
frontal lobe.
The one where they can keep selling you the same lobe over and over again.
So the back of your brain.
the reptile part of your brain were just all the Nintendo memories, just the joys, just right there, straight in. They also give you the implants in your hands for the motion controls.
Actually, in the future, there is no video games. It's just we implant the memory of you enjoying a video game.
There you go. We're selling memories. There'll be bootleg ones.
Whoa.
Might have a
Is there a three-titted woman in this?
There could be.
Oh, this Total Recall thing, man. I don't know about that.
Now, on a note of, you were talking about like inputs and everything. Something else, Oculus Rift. Have you guys seen the Omni before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's the base that you stand in, you put the Rift on, and you actually have to like run.
It's
and it moves the character.
Treadmill.
Yeah, so it's like, that's really cool, but how many gamers are in shape enough to use that thing?
Dude, and this is what I'm saying, sitting in a chair.
Not that many, probably.
It's like, I'm gonna buy Call of Duty on my Omni. Okay, I played this for like 10 minutes, I'm out.
Dude, even sitting in a chair, the first time you use the Oculus Rift, you're not playing for more than 8 to 10 minutes because you're going to get sick. Like
Challenge
violently.
accepted.
Hey, we could definitely do this, but what I'm saying is you have to train yourself to be able to play like
After the podcast, when we're done,
All right,
we're going to go for it. And then we're going to turn it back on real quick. We're going to record the results and add it to the end of this. So, folks, you heard it here. If I can last longer than 10 minutes in the Rift, I don't know what Wes is doing, but it's going to be something stupid.
Oh, by the way, I should mention one of my ideas before we started this podcast was to have someone wearing the Oculus Rift throughout the entire podcast.
Jesus Christ.
I
Challenge.
volunteered for tribute.
I was hoping it was
Or
going to
tribute,
be...
whatever.
And then we just
Volunteer
feed,
tribute.
like Wes would have been feeding them content, just random content the whole time without
No,
them
we would
being
just have
able
him
to
watch
take
the
it
game
off.
trailers and react to them.
Yes.
At this point, I've had several beers, so I feel like I'm the bravest candidate available.
We'd all obviously have a trash can on deck waiting for you to
I
utilize.
did also
it.
jump on a
All right.
trampoline for like an hour earlier.
So- So, yeah, Rift and Project Morpheus, because everybody's kind of doing their own version. Samsung is doing VR headsets now. They've teamed up with Oculus or something.
Yeah, let's transition this into new games. For starters, do you have any, I guess, Morpheus, or I guess, does Microsoft?
Microsoft hasn't announced anything yet. I think that they're still kind of going with Kinect, and like they're waiting to see, I think, how the VR headset thing's going to play out, and Sony's like, no, let's just try it.
So Microsoft's going to play the usual last guy to the game.
In that particular, they're going to be like, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Actually, Sony, I think they said that Morpheus stuff is like 84% done, I think. And most of the components are going to be like smartphone related, so it's going to keep the cost down. Yeah. They're using like Samsung screens or something in there. I can't remember what.
Interesting.
No, are they? No, they would use Samsung screens. That'd be ridiculous,
See,
right?
the beautiful thing about having, open development,
Fact check me.
open development on the Rift means that any video game that's come out since the Rift was started, someone's working on compatibility for it.
Of course.
So literally about 6 months after the game comes out, at least one of the bigger software developers, Vorpex, they've got compatibility software for it. So you can play any game that came out up until 6 months ago.
Wow.
So once Star Citizen comes out, I'm gonna get the Rift, and that's gonna be it for me.
Goodbye, life.
So when do I get to be in the World of Warcraft? When does that happen?
Oh, God.
I'm already in the world.
Actually, you can do that.
Oh, Jesus.
You can do that.
Really?
That sounds...
Wait,
But
really?
the user interface is so complex that
Right.
unless you have everything keybound, it's
Literally
you're
everything.
handicapping yourself so much that it's
Because you have to know, yeah.
Can you not see the mouse on the Rift?
That's
Well,
the
I
thing,
mean,
like, can you get a virtual keyboard
there
with your
are, like,
virtual hands on
there
your
are
virtual
nine-
hotkeys?
there are
Can it be
9
your regular
different.
hands?
Yeah, I get.
I was gonna say there are 9 different interfaces where one's like, okay, the mouse is within the the view screen,
Yeah.
and when you turn your head, if it makes it to the corner, it drags the mouse with you. There's one where it's only within your specific field of view, like if 2 or 3 inches left to right, and that's where the mouse is. So like in first-person shooters, you're actually aiming with your head.
I don't know about
See, I want the option where my hands are left and right, and I'm looking around and...
One day.
And like I play,
One day.
the way I play in TF2 is like your mouse is free moving.
I am trying to...
Yeah.
I'm
360
trying to imagine TF2
degrees.
now.
You can aim one way and look the other way, and fire behind you while you're looking over your shoulder.
That seems like an exploit.
No, it's
a little bit.
It's like, don't mind me, I'm just going to shoot behind me.
Yeah.
it's
That's
interesting.
cool.
I mean,
I get it.
it opens up possibilities. It's
It
neat.
does.
But you don't really conceive of how physical a game becomes when you have to look around with your actual real life head.
I imagine.
You need
'Cause,
like
yeah.
to have an orb to play in.
You do want to make sure you're not in free space, because again, with the dev kit too, I've seen some Let's Players and stuff do things where like you can like peek around corners. Like if you like lean over, it tracks that, and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, okay, there's stuff around the
You
corner.
see how beat up?
Have you like banged your head on that?
No, I beat the shit out of my keyboard though, like turning,
Oh, yeah.
like just turning from left to right while
I'm sure it's
trying to
okay. Yeah,
dip over my shoulders.
I can imagine.
So I mean, it does, I guess, at times become that real to you, where it's your reality is kind of breaking away from what you're looking at?
There are
Or
moments, and so far it's only been with like the first-person shooters where I'm really focused on something specific. Most of the other software kits, are just allowing you to walk through or move through a virtual space, and those aren't as, since there's nothing to focus on, they're not as immersive.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely with a first-person shooter, can lose all track. I bump my head, trying to look down past the desk, or
Easy, dude.
yeah.
Can you learn Kung Fu in a couple of minutes?
Yeah, not in 30
No,
seconds.
30 seconds? Okay.
All right. Now we've had that discussion.
Let's,
Has anyone else aside from me did they watch Tokyo Game Show? Because that happened.
No,
last
you're like the specialist here.
That
on
was their like last big, because obviously we had E3, that's America's big thing. Gamescom was earlier this year, that was Europe's, and Tokyo Game Show. There was a few things. There's only things that stood out to me. Microsoft first. There's a game called D4, which stands for Dark Dreams Don't Die. That's the new game created by the guys that made Deadly Premonition. If any of you have ever seen or played, that game is weird.
Sounds like it.
I've heard of that.
Okay, Deadly Premonition is like if you made a video game out of Twin Peaks and made it a little weirder.
Wow. That's fucking weird, dude.
Okay, for instance, you play as FBI agent Francis York Morgan, who has an imaginary friend that he calls, I believe it's Zach. It's been a little bit since I played Deadly Premonition. He like puts his hand up to his head and he's like, Zach, it's a little weird, isn't it? You are Zach. Like whenever he's talking, you're his imaginary friend, so he's interacting with you. He's like,
meta.
so yeah. There's a part of the game like when it transitions into the like, it's kind of like Silent Hill. There's like normal world, and then it transitions to like the weird world, or like the ghost zombie thing.
What's the level of interaction you can?
He just asks you questions, or like he'll ask you to like, okay, for instance, whenever you're going into the level, it's a cutscene. It transitions to the other world or whatever, and he's like, all right, better let you take over from here, Zach, and then you're playing as him. Like he talks to you at times, but then you realize
It's not
pretty
like
quickly
you can't be like, dude, I am so thirsty right now. Make him go get a drink. It's not like
no, but it's just when you realize, because it starts off with him just normally just talking to his imaginary buddy, and you don't think anything. Then eventually you realize he's talking to me, the player. Like I'm his imaginary buddy that everyone else is watching him fucking touch his head and talk to, and they're like, this guy's nuts. He's talking to you, the player. So like, you realize that and it's like that's weird because if other video games did that, it's like, oh yeah,
you're just a voice of Master Chief.
And also just like I said, that game is a lot like Twin Peaks. If you ever watched that show or know anything about it, it's very Twin Peaks-like. He's weird and obsessed with various things, like Agent Cooper is obsessed with coffee and cherry pie. This guy likes smoking and talking to his imaginary friend. Also, it's a game that has weird little things, like the driving is all in real time, so if you can take too long to drive from one side of the world to the other to get to a mission. You have to know the map and stuff.
Nice.
Wow.
If you don't shave and shower, eventually he'll have like a cloud like follow him around. And people were like, "Yeah, you look a little rough." Like it's a weird game. It's a bizarre game, and it's not that. It came out on the 360 and they re-released on the PS3. It looks like a late PS2, early 360 game. Like it looks like crap, but it's so weird that you have to play it for a little while and give it a chance. And it's not that great of a game either. But it's just so bizarre that you have to give it a chance. It's in my collection now because of that.
Nice.
So that D4 just came out from that same developer. It's Xbox One exclusive, which makes me sad, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess they're releasing it episodically, which I didn't know. Like Part 1, I think just came out, and that got decent reviews.
That's becoming more and more of a thing now.
Yeah, we can talk to episodic gaming, too.
Telltale.
Which,
Yeah, we'll get there.
Quick question, which do you prefer, in-game purchases or episodic gaming?
Episodic.
Yeah, if I had to go between the two. Fun fact, Resident Evil Revelations 2 is going to be episodic. Like, instead of just releasing the next Revelations game as like one big Resident Evil game, they're going to do it in episodic chunks, and when it's all out, they're going to release it as a retail unit.
Speaking of in-game purchases, what do you guys think of the Diablo 3 release there?
Oh, Diablo 3. See, I'm going to be honest with you, I still haven't played Diablo 3.
Well, they just released
There is
the
a console
expansion.
version, right?
It's,
the
it's not
expansion.
too.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It never was going to be, right?
No,
Yeah, I guess.
Have you played it here recently? Since they fired the entire development team and
No.
rehired Diablo 2's development team?
Did not.
I
know
do hear that
was a good
the
choice.
expansion,
Yeah.
the expansion I hear does fix a lot of little complaints people had.
I've not
Or
played
even
it.
huge complaints. They have
I do want to give it a try because they just launched it on the console, like the new gen consoles. So I want to give it a shot, see what it's about. But continue, yeah. What's with the in-app purchases that you're going here?
Well, and that was one of the things people hated with the onset of Diablo 3. They had basically an open auction house where if you get a specific item that you don't need or want in game, you can just go to this auction house and sell it to another player for in-game gold.
Yeah.
Or you can go in and buy gold in-game with real money and go purchase someone else's in-game item.
Now, okay, that kind of stuff, I mean, in-game purchases, or like in-app purchases, because that's usually where you see that kind of stuff, like freemium games, it irks me a bit.
Freemium?
Yeah, it's freemium.
Speaking of which, right here.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I dabble in Simpsons Tapped Out from time to time, but I don't sit and buy donuts all day because I'm not gonna drop $20 on that. That's not. I like my $20.
Yeah, let me just cut in with Hearthstone. I did not mention that as a game I'm playing currently, but I play that daily, and I still have yet to invest a dime into that game.
Hearthstone is, it's not necessarily freemium. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can play the game and get gold, or you can spend money and you can buy booster packs. I bought, like you
can't buy gold,
did
though.
buy one set of booster packs, right?
Remember this, you can't buy gold for this. You can only buy packs.
That's right. But the gold is only worthwhile for the packs or for, like,
Which means
the arena.
you can't play arena. You can't buy your way into arena. You literally have to save gold by playing regular matches to play arena, which I think is a great mechanic, whereas you just don't have these assholes constantly buying into arena.
Yeah, but I mean, arena, since it's like random cards anyway,
True.
you just get assholes playing ranked matches that manage to buy legendary cards.
They probably have spent $30,000 on cards and got everything.
Yeah. It is what it is there. So yeah, Hearthstone, love that game.
Yeah.
You and I know that you bought one set of packs once. I have two, just one. I actually got some decent stuff out of it, and I know you were kind of disappointed in what you got because you roll priest most of the time.
What do you guys think of the death of WoW?
The death of WoW?
The undeath of WoW.
Oh yeah,
it's coming back in another expansion.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring Warlords of Draenor up. Every time, and that's our gracious host here and I have talked about this a lot. Every time you talk about World of Warcraft and you stop playing, it sounds like you got off of a drug addiction. Because I've been clean of World of Warcraft since 3 months after Lich King came out. So how long ago was that? It's like 5+ years now.
It's about 4.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I haven't touched World of Warcraft in like 4 years. Although I did recover my account password the other day, and I'm resisting every urge possible to click any buttons involving that.
Just a 7-day trial, man.
Nope. I've been offered Scrolls of Resurrection, not going back. That's why I play Hearthstone.
You get a free mount.
Hearthstone is like the nicotine patch of WoW. I get some of the characters, and I like the card games. I don't have to play World of Warcraft.
It's interesting to see that they're throwing all their chips on WoW still.
Right.
It's still big. I mean, even though they launched, oh yeah, they did. They did kill Project Titan, which they were working for like 8 years. And I mean, killing a game that you've been working on for 8 years.
They were projecting to work on it for 8 years.
Yeah,
it's only been 3, I think.
Still,
but
I mean, they had to have already tossed 3 years worth of money and like work, and it's like, we're just gonna ditch that.
What was Project Titan again?
It was their like next gen quote unquote MMO that they were working on. It was what they were gonna. It was from Blizzard. Okay. It was the new MMO they were working on, and they just scrapped it recently. They announced that.
What was the premise for the plot? I guess the world.
They didn't release much of anything. About
they just announced they were working on it a while back. It was going to be their next big thing, and then people knew that they were working on it in the background, and then
they were so disappointed. The project manager was so disappointed with their initial results designing this game that they're like, no, we can't spend any more money on this.
And it wasn't in like the StarCraft universe. It was just a brand new universe that they came up with.
As far as I'm aware, it was a brand new story.
Interesting.
But now, see, WoW, I mean, it's still the MMO juggernaut, not quite what it once was. I mean, it loses players, it gains them back when an expansion launches. Because, I mean, Worlds of Draenor has had over 1 million pre-orders on it already, so, I mean...
But 1 million's paltry numbers compared to, like, Burning Crusades when that came out. There was, like, 16 million players.
Well, I mean, I think it's dropped from like 11 to like 8 million. I mean, that's a huge drop. That's still 8 million people shelling out $15 a month, and they're going to get at least 1 million of those back temporarily whenever it first comes. Whenever the
So much money.
I mean, they're going to get a lot of those people to come back because they're waiting for new stuff to do. That's the thing with an MMO. Like, I quit because I got bored. I hit the end game. I got tired of raiding.
And if you read any of the release notes, Blizzard's planning on not making the same mistake again, and they're going to be releasing.
They're working on pumping them out quicker now.
Yeah, working on releasing expansions here every year.
I gotta chime in with my resolution for quitting MMOs, which was PlayStation Home, which has recently been announced. They're closing the doors March 31st of next year, 2015.
I have never met a man as dedicated to PlayStation Home as this guy.
And yeah, I've talked about this in previous podcasts, but
I'm sorry, I don't even know what that is.
PlayStation Home is essentially just like Ironforge in World of Warcraft. It's except it's modern day.
Here's what PlayStation Home is. PlayStation Home is like if you took Facebook and The Sims and put them into a game together.
And bombarded with ads, yeah. For various video
You
game
have an
franchises.
avatar. That's why the whole Sim thing's coming. And like it's just a place for you to hang out with other people in like a virtual world. You have your own like apartment and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's basically just, I don't know, Second Life.
Essentially,
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like Second Life, except it was more social. Like
Much more
Sony announced
More social.
much more larger.
also less creepy than Second Life. Second Life has a very interesting. Sorry, any Second Life fans out there, you're weird. I've known some of you.
It's all just.
It's all relative.
It's all weird. It is all weird.
Home was something that was big when Sony first announced the PS3 because it was supposed to be like this big social platform. It kind of bombed at launch because like they had a lot of bugs. I mean, a lot of things like that. And they've kind of fixed it up over the years. Like I said, he's played it like
Since
dedicated.
2008, since beta 2008.
Religiously.
Yeah, and what's happened is since PS4 came out, the initial question I had, because of all the time I've dedicated to PlayStation Home, was when are they going to release it for PS4, or are they going to port it to PS4? What's happening with
The answer to that is no, they are not.
No, the answer is Neotopia has been established. Neotopia.co has been established. Yeah, you're right. They're not porting Home, but they're going to try to generate this whole new landscape. It's a developer. I can't even.
I don't remember the name of the developer. They did Spunland.
Yeah, they did Spunland and Home and a few other tiny little operations, but they're going to be using the Unreal 4 engine, and they're going to be building this entire virtual world on PS4. They've started a Kickstarter, assuming this Kickstarter succeeds and gets $250,000 British pounds, because they're based out of London, just as the original developer was for PlayStation Home. So Kickstarter's going on right now. They've raised £11,000 in I think 3 or 4 days,
Something like that.
So
there's like 25 or so days left. I checked it out. I'm not as big into PlayStation Home as he is, but I mean, it looks neat. It looks like something that I would try out if it was on the PS4. So
that's one thing. Like, if that does exist, I will buy a PlayStation 4 just for that, because I'm one of those people who has a few people I like to communicate with on Home, and I like to lurk, and I like to fuck with people on PlayStation Home, bar none. Just like to do it.
It is fun.
It's just one of those. You can be anything you want to be. It's like make believe.
It's the world of make believe.
Without all of the bullshit quests that you have to do in World of Warcraft, and all the people stealing your loot from you, and getting people together for a raid, and all that. It's just it was my answer to quitting World of Warcraft. I got the social aspects that I wanted, but at the same time, didn't have to deal with a lot of. You still have to deal with immature kids, but we'll move on. Anyway, Neotopia.co. Looking forward to it.
D4 we talked about. One of the other little things that Microsoft didn't announce this at Tokyo Game Show. They actually showed this off, I think, back at E3, but they showed more of it. There's a game. It's a little indie game called Ori and the Blind Forest that just looks really neat. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just you're like this little light spirit, and you're raised by your adoptive parent kind of looks like a bear gorilla thing. I don't know what it is. You've seen what it looks like, but I don't know what it is.
What's this called?
Ori, O-R-I, and the Blind Forest. If you want to look that up real quick, check it out.
It's like a Japanese.
Yeah, it's a little indie game. You're a light spirit that's being raised in a forest. You're like adoptive parent thing, whatever it is, dies or something, and there's like a darkness that's trying to destroy the forest, and you have to fight it. I mean, the story doesn't sound special, but like it just looks really pretty, and like the platforming and everything looks really nice. Oh. It was a big surprise for Microsoft doing that, and it looked really cool.
All right.
And then Sunset Overdrive is Insomniac's Xbox One exclusive shooter that they're doing. That. Are you looking up Ori and the Blind Forest right now?
Yeah.
What was you already mentioned it once? What was the? It's the game that creates more space as you explore it.
I'm actually going to get to that.
Okay.
That is on my itinerary, actually.
Well, go to that next.
No Man's Sky? No Man's
sick.
Sky looks sick.
What is it?
It's called No Man's Sky. It's going to debut on the PS4 as far as its console launch goes. It's a procedurally generated space exploration game.
Oh my god.
Like, they made an algorithm that just
continues to make more space.
It's like the universe isn't infinite, but you would die so many times over before you explored every planet in this universe.
Oh, I have heard of this game. Yes, this game is good.
Which one?
You told me about this when it was first announced.
No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. It looks, and like, because, you start off on your world, it's randomly generated, or it's procedurally generated, and then you can get in a spaceship and leave your planet and go to other planets. And you might find other people, but it's not guaranteed to. Because you're all sharing, like, the same universe.
Right.
It's just, or they can visit yours or something.
I think the way the servers are broken up, it's, there's servers for sections of space, and then there's servers for individual planets.
But it's like, so it's kind of like an MMO, but not really like an MMO?
Yeah, it's a procedurally generated space exploration game, basically. And there's like, I think spaceships that, like, you can fight or something like that.
Spacecraft?
Yeah, you can
Minecraft.
You can build or buy spaceships.
That does look really cool. It's going to be on PC. Its console debut is on PS4, and I think they said it's going to be an Xbox One, but I don't remember, honestly.
PC?
Yeah, it'll be on PC, of course. I mean, and no, that studio. What studio? Their thing got flooded and it ruined like all kinds. We talked about this.
It was this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was and Sony stepped in and was like, "Yeah, we'll help you guys," and that's why it's going to debut on PS4 as far as console. Yeah, their studio got flooded. It ruined like months and months of work. Their insurance wasn't going to cover it, and Sony stepped in and helped save their ass. So,
because they wanted a piece of it.
Yeah, good guy Sony. It's like, hey, we'll help you out. Console exclusive for a while, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, because exclusivity, it's weird how it's not as big a thing. Like, you used to buy a PS2 because it's like, oh, this has this game. And now there's a very few set of exclusives anymore. It's all multi-plat, mostly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got the war between now that the consoles are also developing major title games.
Yeah.
They want to make as much money as they possibly can. So it's constantly warring between how many can we sell for this platform and how much money can we make on this platform with just this. There
was a game I just read about. It was a smaller indie game that came out on the PS4 that I didn't even know came out, but it sold so poorly on the PS4 that they canceled the Xbox One version because there's a smaller install base of them.
Oh, they're from the UK too.
Yeah.
Nice.
What was it?
I don't remember what it was called. It was some little indie game that I didn't even know existed. It came out on the PS4, apparently sold like crap, and they just scrapped the Xbox One version because there were fewer Xbox Ones. Like, there's less of an install base. So they're like, no, we're not even going to bother.
Was it Fat Princess? Because that game is the shit.
No, it was not. It was not Fat Princess. And then the last one, again, they didn't show it, or they didn't announce it at Tokyo Game Show, but Sunset Overdrive is Insomniac's Xbox One exclusive shooter that they're making, which to a lot of people feels like a betrayal because Insomniac is, like, they've been a PS2, they've been a Sony, like, not exclusive, like, in this, but they've done a lot of games for Sony. They have some beloved franchises, and now they're making this Xbox One exclusive shooter. But it looks really frenetic, it's very colorful, very bouncy, and has a lot of energy, and I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Bouncy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very frenetic, bouncy game, if you watch any gameplay footage of it.
Remind me what Insomniac has made, because I know they've made some really famous stuff.
Insomniac.
Psychonauts? Was that them?
That's Double Fine.
Okay, yeah, they collapsed.
That's Tim Schafer. It's
I want to say Borderlands, but it's the game that looks a lot like Borderlands.
no, it's Insomniac.
Any cel-shaded game?
No, it's not cel-shaded, but I mean just the...
I'm just fact-checking myself real quick because there's
Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance.
See, okay, Ratchet and Clank.
Resistance.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, Resistance is the alien. I was gonna say. I wanted to take a second. I feel it's a failure on my part. I had to take a second because I didn't want to say Ratchet and Clank and it be Jak and Daxter, and I feel like a dick. And everyone on the internet's like, "You motherfucker! It was Ratchet and Clank, or it was Jak and Daxter." Right. So I took a second. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, that's been a Sony franchise, and then Insomniac. Yeah, and I mean, it's gonna stay a Sony franchise, but then they just Insomniac also made a shooter. It was called Fuse, and that was that like tanked, and it was its first multi-plat game, and nobody liked it, nobody bought it. Sunset Overdrive looks a lot cooler. We'll see how that goes. Sony's Tokyo Game Show again.
Wow. I'm sorry, Sunset Overdrive. We're watching a.
Are you looking at it?
Kind of looks like Crazy Taxi.
Well, it reminds me of
Crazy Taxi guns.
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge. That's exactly what I was
telling you, it's very frenetic, very bouncy.
with aliens.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Not even.
You play the story behind that game. What it has or whatever is that there's a.
As you said, story.
Story popped up.
It popped up and said story.
You are Neo.
That's fantastic.
Give me powers.
As I said, as I opened my, as I said, as the guy showed up at the door with the $1 million briefcase. Damn it.
You've won $1 million!
It never happens.
Never
Just
happens.
one day I'm banking on it. The story is that there was like an energy drink that got sold, and
Delirium is what it's called.
yeah, and it mutated people, and that's what you're fighting now. Is people mutated by an energy drink?
So it's like
Welcome to our future.
The Slurge episode or
Slurm
from Futurama.
Yeah, it's like Slurm.
I mixed it with Surge, which is what they're.
Surge.
By the
Slurm. Slurge.
Surge has come back.
Surge has come back.
Yeah, on Amazon.
All right, 90s.
Because the internet.
Because the internet.
Yeah. Anyway.
Still sold out on Amazon as far as
You
I
don't
know.
even want to know where toothpaste comes from.
This game looks pretty sick. Like, I would probably...
It looks fun.
I would definitely go to my friend's house and play
Yeah, I've got a buddy with an Xbox One, so I'll go to his place and be like, if it's fun enough, maybe.
Yeah. Alright.
Whoa.
Looks crazy.
So
I gotta
now,
stop that.
also coming up, so Sony stuff at
fun.
TGS, they did show off new trailers of Final Fantasy 15.
Jesus.
Well,
Is
look,
that game ever gonna fucking die?
Whoa.
Final Fantasy. Okay, no, look, here's the deal.
Whoa.
I will be the first.
Piss off a lot of
I am
people.
going to step out automatically and just say, hey, I did not like Final Fantasy 13.
Is it ever
I
gonna
did.
get good again?
What
is
about
what I should
14?
say. Because most people have
The
complained.
MMO?
Yeah.
I haven't played the MMO, although, okay, when it first launched, I heard it was absolute shit, and now that they relaunched it, I've heard it's better.
What about 13-2?
I didn't play any of the other ones because I hated the first one. Although apparently 13.2 and 13.3, because that exists, fixed some of the shit that people hate.
I know people that love it, so
Well, see, and
it's
because
for
okay,
some people, it's
I
just
haven't
not for me.
I haven't been as excited for a Final Fantasy game since I saw the first trailers for Final Fantasy 13. Because 13 was the first next gen Final Fantasy. It's like, oh, it looks so pretty.
I haven't been really impressed with the Final Fantasy since 10, but I will still give them money to keep making.
Final Fantasy 15, I mean, the graphics, I mean, it looks fantastic. And the thing about it, if you look up a video of it, is that it has this weird combination of, like, modern world technology and, like, classic Final Fantasy style. Like, they live in a city, they drive a fucking car around, like, this open field, and then they jump out and fight monsters. Like, it's weird, but I like that. I think it's an interesting combination that they're going with this semi-realistic modern technology thing, and then big-ass Final Fantasy creatures in a field. And you can just cruise around your buddies in a car and just tear ass around the continent.
It sounds promising. Tear ass in a car or on a continent.
Yeah, you're just into like a road
with my
trip.
buddies.
Now, the weird thing though is they're also making another
Switching
game.
the whole way.
They're making another game called Final Fantasy Type 0 that I know absolutely like nothing about, honestly. I'm just going to admit that because I haven't followed it. But they're going to package a demo of Final Fantasy 15, like a 4 to 5 hour demo for 15 in with Type 0 if you buy it. Which,
What?
yeah, if you buy this Final Fantasy game that you don't really care much about, you can get a 5 hour demo for the game you probably give a shit about. That might push games. If anybody, remember when Crackdown came out and it had Halo 3 demo on it? Crackdown sold like a motherfucker because people want to play Halo 3 demo.
I remember when Zone of Enders came out and everyone bought it for the Metal Gear
MGS2 demo.
Yes.
Yeah. So Type 0 might sell based on, hey, I can play 5 hours of Final Fantasy 15.
You didn't want to play Zone of Enders?
Zone of Enders. I wanted to play Zone of Enders 2.
It actually wasn't that bad of a game.
It was good.
It was pretty good.
I liked it.
It was pretty good.
Zone of Enders 1, okay. Zone of Enders 2, fantastic. I own both of those.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So that's the Final Fantasy thing. Sony showed off at E3, I think last year, an RPG that they're doing called Deep Down that has a new... Yeah, we got time, I guess, right?
You're good. I'd say we got 5 more minutes before we can wrap it up.
All right. It'll be real quick then.
Yeah.
Deep Down is an RPG that they're making that... they had a new trailer, but I haven't got to watch it. The idea, I guess, is that you're playing a game, but the people in the game are... The game that you're playing, the RPG that's like the main focus... They're doing that shit like, if anyone's ever seen a game like Dot Hack or something like that, or like Sword Art Online, you're playing a game and someone else is playing a game in that game. Like, it's not actually, it's like set in modern times where they're playing an MMO that's like a medieval fantasy one. That's what it looks like. I haven't seen the new trailers, they may have shown something different.
Mm-hmm. So the characters you're playing are playing games in the game.
Yeah. Like, you're playing a game within a game.
That's very meta. That's very meta.
Capcom's doing that.
I wonder if both games would be good.
Well, here's the hoping. They're releasing a new Guilty Gear, which that game hasn't been around a little while. And
What? Hold on. I gotta back up a little bit. What if the game sucks, but the game inside the game is amazing?
Then I will play it.
And does the game suck?
Oh,
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Mind blown. New Guilty Gear. It's a sprite based, like, it's a fighting game. They're fun. They're making a new one. Bloodborne. I'm actually really excited for Bloodborne, the spiritual successor to Demon Souls on the PS3. I like the Souls games. I didn't play Dark Souls 2, but whatever. I love the Demon Souls. Dark Souls was solid. Bloodborne looks a lot like Demon Souls, but it plays faster, which I know a lot of people had to complain about with those Souls games, that they're a little slow. Yeah. And this one's going to have some kind of co-op feature that I've seen.
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta 2 is actually on my list of releases this year. Not necessarily I'm going to get it, but this game's coming out. And then, of course, one of the big surprises from Tokyo Game Show, everyone's talked about it, was PT, the playable teaser for the new Silent Hill game.
You played that?
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. I will admit it right here. I went home, I downloaded it, it was night, had the lights off, it's 3 in the morning. I'm playing the game, and it makes you really uneasy.
Did you pass it?
I haven't fully beaten it.
Oh, dude, at the end of it, I was like, where's this? Where did this come from?
I've seen the scene, because everyone has, because eventually I was like, okay, I just need to know what happens. I need to see this, the actual trailer. Well, they also released, recently, a new trailer for because if you play the demo for PT, because it was a surprise, they're like, yeah, we're making this game called PT, there's a demo for it, you can go download it right now. And then no one knew what it was, and it turns out, oh, it's a playable teaser for the new Silent Hill game, although they say it doesn't have anything to do with the new Silent Hill, it's just to give you an idea of what they're capable of.
Yeah.
And of course, Hideo Kojima is teaming up with Guillermo del Toro to make this game, so it's like, take my fucking money. And it stars Norman Reedus, which I think, yeah. I like Norman Reedus, but I think it's weird that they're doing, a Silent Hill game with an actual actor.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Silent Hill, Guillermo del Toro, Hideo Kojima, take all my fucking money.
Yeah,
I will just hand it to you. They did just show a new trailer for the game. Again, they're like, this isn't necessarily going to be in the game. This is to give you an idea, and it's a weird trailer. It's spooky.
I really think they're just trying to get the female Walking Dead fan.
With Norman Reedus
player base, yeah.
Look, Daryl's in this game.
Hey, studies show now that 50-something, the majority of gamers now are female, which I don't know if I believe that, but studies show.
Look, we're not going to talk about that study because we're not going to get into that. There are a lot of female gamers out there.
No,
it's cool.
That only counts.
You know what?
Cool.
It doesn't even matter. Fuck it. If you like video games, you can be my friend. I don't care. I don't care what gender, ethnicity. I don't give a shit.
I agree with you completely.
You can be my buddy.
Okay.
We're not going to get into this topic stuff right here because this is.
That's true. That's a whole other thing.
What was that?
What? You're like, no.
Yeah, we're not going to touch this. This is a hot topic thing right now. We're not getting into this hot button issue.
The term is.
Now, and then little things from Nintendo. They did announce a sequel to Bravely Default, which I haven't played the full game of, but I actually just downloaded the demo a few weeks back, and I was playing the crap out of it, and that is really fun. They announced a sequel to that. It's called Bravely Second. Of course, they're releasing a new Monster Hunter on the 3DS. I dig those games. It looks pretty cool. and they actually showed off the new 3DS model that they're making.
Which is?
It looks mostly the same, but it has slightly redesigned buttons, and they're adding... So you have the thumbstick on the left, and they're adding a second, like, little nub joystick thing.
Finally.
Like, it just looks like one of the buttons, but I guess basically you can use it like control the camera and stuff like instead of the buttons. So it's just an extra.
And they got rid of the touchscreen.
No,
Damn it.
that's part of the DS. It's not going to go away.
Why do you want that?
Yeah. Why would you want that?
Why do you want to get rid of it? Is what I'm
Because it's
Yeah.
worth. What? Give me one game where it actually contributes to the game.
Pokemon X and Y.
How?
You train your Pokemon using the touchscreen, and they do more critical
Phoenix
hits.
Wright.
They shake off
dude.
poison.
We won't get it. Point is, they announced the new 3DS. Of course, it's a touchscreen. That's what it does. But the biggest thing is that I guess it's a little lighter. I think they actually increased the processor power in it a little bit.
Neat.
And it has like that second little nubbin thing.
Neat. Is it fat? So does it literally, like, if I play my Spot Pass games, which I'm also still currently playing from time to time,
Yes.
will it increase the speed that it takes to load the...
Presumably, yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
I know that they bumped the CPU power up a little bit in it, which is like, well,
It makes
shit.
it makes me wonder, like, would that benefit existing games? That's cool, though.
And I'd also like to acknowledge the death of Vita. They're no longer making games for it.
Really?
No, they're not. They announced Vita games. I just didn't pay attention because I don't give a shit. But
Who does?
the only reason I like the idea of a Vita is that it will go with my PlayStation 4 and I can just play a game on it, like in my bedroom, like the Wii U does on my controller.
I know 2 people that own a Vita.
I know one
That's
person.
2
that
more
owns a
than
Vita.
I know that knows.
I know one guy knows a Vita, and he's a new hire at our job.
Yeah, we do. That's one of the ones that I know.
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah.
them too.
We know the same
That's
guy.
great.
Yeah.
So
It's not good for the Vita.
quick little things. Recent releases, like I said earlier on. I'm going to get Smash Bros. With 3DS because that's going to tide me over. Wes over here played Shadows of Mordor. I am going to dabble in that. Some upcoming stuff. The new Alien game is coming out in like 2 days.
That looks fantastic.
Alien Isolation. It's weird. It's got pretty good reviews, except for like 3 websites gave it like 6 or something. But it looks fun. I want to play it.
Games always seem to get the shaft, man.
Well, it can't be worse than Colonial Marines because that was a steaming pile of shit. That was a terrible game that Sega got sued for because it was so not what they advertised it. Random things, you have PlayStation Plus. Drive Club is going to be free on the 7th. That was a racing game that Sony was supposed to announce that was supposed to come out at the launch of the PS4. It got delayed. They're going to have a free version.
Year?
Crazy.
Yeah, they delayed it.
That's intense.
It was supposed to come out at the launch of the PS4, and it got delayed, and it came out, and it's coming out on the 7th. There's going to be a free version that is more limited, and then obviously there's a paid version to unlock everything.
What's the game?
It's called Drive Club. It's a racing game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's free, so I'll play it and see how it goes.
It's free.
I mean, it's free. Why the hell not,
Is it
right?
like related to like Midnight Club? Or?
No, it's a completely original game that Sony has developed in one of their internal studios.
Weird.
Like I said, it's supposed to come out at launch. They delayed it like a lot. The PS Plus version is free, and then if you want the paid version that has everything, you can buy that. So I'll try it out for free, see how it goes, because I don't do racing games often.
New Forza game. Fuck yeah. Dude, Forza's freaking beautiful.
Forza Horizon was a fun racing game, and I won't buy an Xbox One for Forza 2, but I'd buy Forza 2 if I bought an Xbox One.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way. I actually didn't give a rat's ass about the new Borderlands game until I watched couple of new gameplay videos for it, and it does look really fun. I want to play as Claptrap. I watched the new... They showed an 11-minute video of Claptrap's skill trees and stuff. One of his abilities at the end of the skill tree is you raise your hand to give a high five, and if they high five you, everyone gets buffs.
Nice.
And it has all these little thumbs up on the screen. If you don't give them a high five, it's a bunch of thumbs downs, and it just says screw you, and you get the buffs instead. So I watched the video. I was like, this looks funny. It reminded me of why I like Borderlands in the first place. That comes out on the 14th. Same day, The Evil Within comes out, which I really want to not suck royally, but I worry about it. The Evil Within is from the guy that made the original Resident Evil. Like, it's his studio, Tango Gameworks. It's their first official game. It's a survival horror game, because that's what he knows. I mean, Mikami is what he does. I've heard mixed things about the demos that people have played for it. I want it to not suck, because I like survival horror games. I'm going to wait and see what people say about it. I'll give it a rent, because that's kind of what I do now.
Nice.
I try it out. As Wes pointed out, Bayonetta 2 is coming out this year. Wii U exclusive.
Oh, God.
Wii U exclusive?
exclusive?
Yeah.
It's like
interesting.
it's like just saying let's make Devil May Cry female edition.
You know what? Totally cool with it.
Yeah.
That comes out on the 24th. Yeah, it's Wii U exclusive. Someone actually, by the way, that guy, Hideki Kamiya, the guy that develops those games, that guy makes me laugh real hard. Because on Twitter, he just fucks with people. Like, someone posted a tweet to him that said, how does it feel making a game for an inferior platform? And then he responded to that with, like, how does your mom feel about making an inferior son?
Ooh,
Wow.
Like, he's a badass. Someone brought up, like, feminism one. He's like, I don't care, just play my games. Like, he doesn't give a shit. Because he's Hideki Kamiya. I know we touched on the juggernaut that is Call of Duty that comes out in November. Everyone knows it's going to. Assassin's Creed Unity, which I'm actually looking forward to. I think it looks neat. I'll try it out. That comes out November 11th. Quick thing to touch on, speaking of games that have come out, maybe got burnt. The new Dragon Age game comes out November 18th. We've had a discussion with our buddy Corey about it, because he's really stoked. I really like Dragon Age 1. Dragon Age 2, everybody knows, was a giant letdown. Your feelings on Dragon Age 3? Because it looks cool. It looks like they're trying to not screw it up like Dragon Age 2. Do you trust them to not screw it up?
Inquisition?
Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition. November 18th.
I don't know, man.
It looks promising, right? But
I love the... Did you play Origins?
yeah.
Yeah. I love the game. Then when they came out with, I think it was 3, yeah. It was such a...
Well, Inquisition is the third one. Dragon Age 2 was the bad one.
Dragon Age Inquisition was the last one I played.
Dragon Age Inquisition is the new one that's coming out.
You have not played it yet. I can
Okay,
promise
If you have time traveled and played it, I need to know if it's good or
The
bad.
first one...
Dragon Age Origins was the first one.
First one.
Then they made Dragon Age 2.
Okay, that one sucked.
Yeah, it did.
That was the most recent one.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah. And it was because Dragon Age wasn't fantastic,
They
but it was
just
good.
took... I mean, they took all the same set locations, the same scenes, and...
You had 3 locations that you traveled between, and that was it.
And it was...
And I will talk forever about how those endings don't make sense because they should have done it based on whether you decide what the mages or the Templars. We're not going to go there. That game just sucked balls. Inquisition looks like they're trying to correct some of it because they're doing more open world. It's using Frostbite 3, the same engine that powers a lot of EA games now. Like Battlefield 4, it's using the Frostbite engine now.
But are they still doing the decision-based game?
I think it's gonna have more of a tactical view like the first game did, and less of the hack and slashy stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. Also on the same day, Far Cry 4 comes out, which looks pretty cool. War elephants. That's all I gotta say.
Honestly, I had a hard time discerning that, at least the gameplay footage I've seen so far, from Far Cry 3.
It's true. More verticality because of like helicopters and stuff. Drop in and out co-op. Also, I can just make an elephant stomp ass through a village, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
There's also, I don't know, there's weird... They're adding weird stuff into it like they always do. I'll give it a try. And then the last little thing they're coming out is that they're doing their HD re-release of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ooh.
Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 remix.
I will say this because
I bought Kingdom Hearts 1
People
remix.
love Kingdom Hearts.
I love the first one, not so much the second one, but whatever.
The first one was good.
Yeah.
And what I've heard about Final Fantasy 15, a couple of people are like, yeah, so Kingdom Hearts is coming out. They're calling it Final Fantasy 15 because it's an action RPG, more so than the typical just fantasy RPG that previous Final Fantasies were. And it's the same, as far as I understand, it's the same director that's made all.
Yeah, I think it's Nomura, right?
Yeah, it's the same director that made all the.
I forgot about that.
Oh God.
All right. I'm just going to toss out some upcoming releases for 2015 that they have already announced. You can just time in whatever. Arkham Knight is coming out because they delayed that from this year to next year. Dude, I'm excited for Arkham Knight.
Arkham City was good.
Arkham City was good.
It was short and
Arkham Knight
confusing.
I loved it though. I did. And Arkham Knight I'm excited for. I'm glad they delayed it because it helps my wallet feel better about itself. Of course, if you're into shooters again, Battlefield Hardline I know is coming out, which people were weird about that, but I did play it wasn't, I don't know, you could consider it a beta. They're doing a second beta. I actually really liked the cops and robbers thing because it had shit like zip lines. One of the modes was you had to steal a briefcase of money and get it to like point B. I elevated up a building, ziplined across, and escaped. Like that kind of stuff was cool. I like that. I think those gadgets are really fun. I already talked about Bloodborne. They are releasing DayZ on the PS4 supposedly next year. Which
one?
DayZ.
Yeah, DayZ, is it like the original?
No, like the
Arma 3 or
no, the one that they made. That's not a mod. Like the official game. Like. Because, again, I don't do PC a lot, so like I didn't ever play like the original or the new game. So if that's coming to consoles, I'm excited to screw over my fellow human beings and take their items.
That game is addictive. I will give it that.
Evolve, I know, that's the new game coming out from the Left 4 Dead guys. If you've seen that, it's 4 people versus 1 player playing as the monster, and like it evolves through 1 of 3 stages.
I saw the E3 footage of that.
It looks really cool. That's coming out next year. Let's see, Mortal Kombat X, I think is that next year or 2016? Whatever. Mortal Kombat 10 looks sick. I mean, I like Mortal Kombat 9, like the one that just called Mortal Kombat. It was solid. It reminded me of the older ones.
Mortal Kombat 3.
Well, yeah, you can't beat perfection.
Since Mortal Kombat 3, I've played all of 10 minutes of any of the others.
The last one they came out with, though, just Mortal Kombat, was really solid. 10 looks really cool. No Man's Sky is on my list because I'm excited for it. Mighty Number 9, if anyone ever read about that, it had a Kickstarter last year, I think. It's from Keiji Inafune, the guy that made Mega Man.
Yeah, no,
it's the spiritual successor to Mega Man. It got fully funded. That's coming to consoles next year. It looks pretty cool. It had some new gameplay footage of it. The Order 1886, that's a game that's Sony exclusive. Mm-hmm. It looks great and it has a really interesting concept because it's like one of those alternate history games. It's set in like Victorian London, but it's these people that have drank this liquid that gives them powers and like immortality, and they're fighting against supernatural creatures. But I've seen a lot of people play the gameplay like at cons and stuff, and there's been concerns with the gameplay that like it's a generic kind of cover shooter and it's very linear and nothing really stands out about it other than that it looks really pretty.
Hey, that's sold games in the
you know what though? It's got Nikola Tesla in it, so.
That's awesome.
Last 2 things, I'll make this with my most anticipated game for this current generation for me is Metal Gear Solid 5. It's the reason I bought a PlayStation 4. I bought a PS4.
When's that releasing?
I bought a PlayStation 3 so I could play Metal Gear Solid 4. I bought a PS4 because I want to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
When's it releasing?
It's next year. I don't think they have a set release date for it yet. And then a couple Wii U things for the people in the room that have a Wii U, namely myself and Luthraz over there. I talked about Mario Maker like earlier this year about making my own Mario levels because I just think that's fucking neat.
That is cool.
Like, I am like excited about making Mario levels and just having buddies try to beat them.
Impossibly difficult Mario level.
Exactly. Ridiculous. New Mario Party comes out because those are always fun. It is what it is. We use like the invite your friends over, play some fun party game shit.
That's next year too, right?
Yep.
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker and Mario Party 10 are next year. And the surprise game that they showed off from E3 this year was a game called Splatoon that I talked to you about. Splatoon. It's a third-person shooter, but you play as these anthropomorphic squid people, and you can switch between being in human form or in squid form.
And you just swim.
And all you do is you shoot like ink to like color your territory, because whoever has the most territory in the match wins. And if you're in squid form, you can dive in your own color ink to travel faster, and it just looks really fun. So
So it's
yeah.
like a mix between Octodad and
No, it's
Blob on Wii. Like
you need to watch a video. That's the only way to describe it.
I really should.
So those are my.
Sounds interesting.
That's everything I got.
Awesome.
I know that we went quite a bit there, but hey.
Yeah. We'll definitely go ahead and cut it off because we're at like over almost 2 hours.
We're at 2 hours now.
Nearly 2 hours.
Do you have any final questions for us?
No, we won't do that because... Let me run through the questions real quick that I had, though. We won't answer them because we won't even open that can of worms. But my next question was going to be Ebola. Should it exist as a video game?
Brief answer, it does. It's called Play Game.
If Ebola were the antagonist, would Colloidal Silver and Vitamin C be the protagonist?
Definitely.
What would Ebola look like?
It would look like Denzel, sound like Chris Tucker.
If Ebola were to fight ISIS, who wins? Also,
Everyone wins.
yeah. Why doesn't Jesus have a video game coming out? And that's it. Those were my last few questions. So, audience, you're welcome to answer those on your own if you've made it.
No matter how bad the Jesus video game would be, you know there'd always be a sequel.
I love it.
I think they did.
All
It
right.
was called Lich Battle Mage.
So we're gonna end it on a joke, like we always do. So the joke is, what do you call a grizzly bear standing in the rain? A drizzly bear. Thank you everyone for listening to the Top Society podcast. Nate, thank you. Wes, thank you for hosting in your wonderful, wonderful
Studio apartment.
Santa Monica studio apartment overlooking the incredible Holiday Resort. Multi-billion-dollar area here. Mr. Ryan McDonald, thank you. Bobby, next time, shut the fuck up. Okay?
Damn it, Bobby.
And Vanessa has already left us, so that's it, guys. Everyone have a sexily.
Good night.
Yes. Alright.
Well, we just rambled on
Did
for
you
2
stop
hours.
it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Top Level Society podcast. Please call the hotline at 424-253-6355 with any questions or comments, and they will be shared on the next podcast. Have a great day, evening, sexy humanoid.